The Boss Who Chased Me, written by Shri S. S. Seth, published in the year 2017. Mine and Mr. K.R.'s fate seemed to be interlinked. We started our careers in the Bhilai steel plant in neighboring shops, but initially the only meeting point was the boundary landmark called High Lines. Though such meetings were sporadic and far between. It was so because he belonged to the operations stream and I, on the other hand, was on the maintenance side. I perceived him as an irascible person with a quick temper who would talk only in an accusing tone. In course of time, the professional career of Mr. K.R. leapfrogged and he got transferred to another unit of the corporate behemoth SAIL in a higher position. My career moved like a passenger train, chugging at a leisurely pace, stopping at all wayside stations and having extended halts to allow fast moving trains to pass by. Much later, the pace picked up somewhat, and I too got promoted and transferred to another steel plant of SAIL located in the eastern part of the country. Getting uprooted from the sanguinity of our place, leaving behind multitude of friends and our second son in the care of a relative of ours to allow him to complete his class 9 studies in the local school was not at all liked by my wife. But she had no alternative but to fall in line. I promised to get the boy admitted to a suitable English medium school in the new place for the next academic session onwards, which brought a flicker of smile on my wife's face, and that was that. It took me some time to get accustomed to the steel plant topography, unfamiliar machinery, and new people who became my colleagues overnight. Within 6 months, the chief of operations and the chief executive of the plant got promoted and transferred to the corporate office at New Delhi and were replaced by senior officers from sister steel plants. The new chief executive was none other than Mr. K.R. I, being the head of the captive power plant, a critical unit of the steel conglomerate, Mr. K.R. used to be in touch with me almost on daily basis, bypassing my direct boss, the chief of operations. I found him quite knowledgeable even in my field of specialization with a keen sight for details and of disconcertingly inquisitive nature, shooting all and sundry with questions like why, when, where, how, why not, at all. Within a few days of interaction, I got deeply distressed by his acerbic and accusative tone, prima facie disbelief in what the subordinates say, and stubborn belief of what he says is right. I would sometimes lose my equanimity, forgetting my lowly status and react in an intemperate manner. He would then quickly change track and converse in friendlier tone. A few days later, my second son arrived after finishing his ninth class examination at Bhilai, seeking admission to a suitable English medium school in my present place of posting. I sought the help of Mr. K.R. for this task. He was very considerate. He not only spoke personally to the principal of the only available English medium school in the city, but also commissioned a heavyweight labor union leader for follow up action. After 15 days, I was summarily told that there was no way my son could get admitted to class 10 as there was just no vacancy. The boy was thereafter sent back to Bhilai, readmitted to Sector 10 English Medium School, and handed over back to the care of my relative. After about 2 months, I was deputed to attend a sale level meeting on captive power plants at the corporate office. On the last day of the meeting, I came to know that steel plant management at Bhilai wanted my services back to fill in a position at the works, for which only I had the required narrow specialization, and the sale chairman may speak to my chief executive for my release in a day or two. Without wasting any time, I rushed to the airport the same evening and took the next flight to Calcutta. I met Mr. KR at 8 am next morning at his residence as he was leaving for his office and requested him to release my services to the Bhilai steel plant when the chairman speaks to him later in the day. Mr. KR pondered for a few minutes and, recalling his inability to get my son fixed up in the city school, nodded his head affirmatively. A week later, I, my wife, and the youngest son marched back to Bhilai triumphantly, bag and baggage. The homecoming was a cause of celebrations, and fitting into the old groove was effortless. Soon I was entrusted with higher responsibilities and became the chief of the power and electrical departments, and later the entire maintenance and units zone. But as the saying goes, good days do not last long. The incumbent chief executive of the plant superannuated, and the new boss from another unit of sale took charge. And who was the new chief? Yes, you have guessed it right. It was none other than Mr. KR himself. We started off where we had left, this time with a vengeance, as I was now heading a much larger department. The steel industry was passing through a lean phase, a periodic occurrence, and the chief executive decided that the cash crunch was because of unbridled purchase of material and goods and also due to high inventory holdings. A summary embargo was ordered on new purchases, and each purchase indent from that for a paper pin to bulk raw material for steel making was ordered to be vetted by the chief executive personally. This put a brake to the smooth production process, and the plant output and profitability started falling before long. The chief would spend most of his time going round plant stores to ensure that spares, equipment, and bulk material quickly move away to the consumption points. He noticed some imported Russian spares kept in a cordoned off corner of plant spares stores marked risk insurance items to be issued with permission of maintenance chief. I was summoned by the chief executive and ordered to draw these items straight away and fit them up in the concerned shop within 24 hours. My exhortations that these were rare imported items without any indigenous substitutes at that point of time and that their non availability when needed could cause serious production outage were summarily rejected. Next morning, when he found the spares still in their allotted corner in the stores, he called me to meet him at the site and advised me to follow his orders forthwith or look for another job, giving me a skewed smile and an imperceptible wink. I was caught in a catch 22 situation but decided to do something quickly in the matter. I had seen a stand-alone discarded room in an isolated corner of the plant a few days ago. I got the spares in question, a few non-standard DC motors, gearboxes, and some parts of rolling mill stands shifted from the stores to this room, got the windows bolted and shuttered from inside and the entrance door removed. The opening was bricked up, plastered, and whitewashed such that no one could see or know what is inside or even gain an entrance into the room. True to my fears, during his roaming visits to all nooks and corners of the plant, Mr. KR saw this mausoleum type structure, went round the building but could not enter the room. The matter ended at that point as the chief got embroiled in his own problems and left the organization a few days later. Soon enough, I re established status quo and by getting the spares shifted back to the equipment stores to reoccupy their allotted space. After superannuation from sale, I had no dearth of job offers in the private sector thanks to the hard grilling and field experience in the steel manufacturing industry, which I was blessed with. I joined the core group of a leading business house operating from the national capital city for their nascent project of setting up a mini steel plant in Madhya Pradesh. But the 10 to 5 white collar work was not the cup of tea for me, and I was looking for an active shop floor job. A switchover opportunity arose when a Nagpur based company approached me for joining their team engaged in the setting up and commissioning of an iron making plant not far from Raipur city. The formal interview took place in the plush chamber of the owner cum chairman of the company. I entered the room with certain trepidations, sat down in the chair offered to me, and glanced round the cushy furnishings in a cursory way. My attention got riveted to a particular photograph adorning the wall behind the chairman's throne. It was that of Mr. KR in person, bestowing a benign smile on all and sundry. Chairman Ji, on his turn, gave a sweet smile of satisfaction tinged with pride of achievement and said, "You are looking at Mr. KR, one of the most prominent steelmen of the country. I am sure you recognize him. I have roped him in as the director in charge of the project. You will love working under him, I believe." Leaving my folder with curriculum vitae and other personal papers on the chairman's desk, I shot out of the room to create as much distance as possible from even the photograph of the great man. It was a great escape indeed. Thank you for listening. Now, some word power. I perceived him as an irascible person with a quick temper who would talk only in an accusing tone. IRASCIBLE, irascible means short tempered, easily annoyed. In course of time, the professional career of Mr. KR leapfrogged and he got transferred to another unit of the corporate behemoth SAIL in a higher position. Leapfrog, LEAPFROG, leapfrog means to improve your position by going past other people quickly or by missing out some stages. Behemoth, BEHEMOTH, behemoth means something that is extremely large or powerful. Getting uprooted from the sanguinity of our place, leaving behind multitude of friends and our second son in the care of a relative of ours to allow him to complete his class 9 studies in the local school was not at all liked by my wife. Sanguine, SANGUINE, sanguine means optimistic. But she had no alternative but to fall in line. Fall in line means accept. Fall in line means follow the rules and behave accordingly. It took me some time to get accustomed to the steel plant topography. TOPOGRAPHY, topography means the natural features of an area. I found him quite knowledgeable even in my field of specialization, with a keen sight for details and of disconcertingly inquisitive nature. Disconcerting, DISCONCGRTING, disconcerting means making someone feel uncertain and worried. Inquisitive, INQUISITIVE, inquisitive means curious. Within a few days of interaction, I got deeply distressed by his acerbic and accusative tone, prima facie disbelief in what the subordinate says, and stubborn belief of what he says is right. ACERBIC, acerbic means sharp, sarcastic. I would sometimes lose my equanimity, forgetting my lowly status, and react in an intemperate manner. EQUANIMITY, equanimity means composure. Equanimity means calmness. A summary embargo was ordered on new purchases, and each purchase indent, from that for a paper pin to bulk raw material for steel making, was ordered to be vetted by the chief executive personally. EMBARGO, embargo means an order to temporarily stop something, especially trading. My exhortations that these were rare imported items without any indigenous substitutes at that point of time, and that their non availability when needed could cause serious production outage were summarily rejected. Exhortation. EXHORTATION. Exhortation means urging. Next morning, when he found the spares still in their allotted corner in the stores, he called me to meet him at the site and advised me to follow his orders forthwith or look for another job, giving me a skewed smile. SKEWED, skewed means distorted. That matter ended at that point as the chief got embroiled in his own problems. EMBROIL, embroil means involve deeply in a conflict or difficult situation. I joined the core group of a leading business house operating from the national capital city for their nascent project of setting up a mini steel plant in Madhya Pradesh. Nascent, NASCENT, nascent means just beginning. Nascent means budding. But the 10 to 5 white collar work was not the cup of tea for me. Not cup of one's tea means not the type of thing that you like. The formal interview took place in the plush chamber of the owner cum chairman of the company. I entered the room with certain trepidations. TREPIDATION, trepidation means a feeling of fear or anxiety about something that may happen. Leaving my folder with curriculum vitae and other personal papers on the chairman's desk, I shot out of the room to create as much distance as possible from even the photograph of the great man. It was a great escape indeed. CURRICULUM VITAE, curriculum vitae means a brief account of a person's education, qualification, and previous occupation sent with a job application. Thank you for listening.